Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name's Chris and it's fantastic to have you back with us for another video. And in today's video, we're going to have a look at Cardano. There's lots to cover off. I do think that Cardano is uniquely positioned now to leapfrog Ethereum. We've seen downtime for Solana. We've seen the impact of FTX and the contagion in the crypto space off the back of the FTX sort of failure that, Cardano isn't that exposed to. And I really do think that the technology is so far above and beyond what Ethereum actually has. I do believe that, Cardano is doing some amazing things. So we're going to dig into all of that. We did a recent interview with Charles. We're going to, have a bit of a clip on the Midnight sidechain part of the interview for you to get sort of the inside scoop on that. If you enjoy this sort of content, mash up the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video. And don't forget to jump in the Discord. It is absolutely free to join the Discord. There's a community of over 5,000 people, real people, not bots. We boot out and have a very strict policy on the Discord. So these are 5,000 active users and it's a great community to immerse yourself in. And I think it's really important to have a good community around you when you're trying to navigate a bear market that's in a recession. It's something unique and we haven't seen before. So definitely check that out. Link is in the description. Absolutely free to join. Right, let's get down to the desktop. Okay, so we're going to start here on CoinMarketCap, the best place to start, in my opinion. We're up 5.95% for the total market cap of all crypto at $826.25 billion. Now, I have kind of said a few times now, we should be looking to preserve our capital. The message needs to be heard loud and clear. This phase of the bear market needs to be about how we can save money, keep our capital safe, not necessarily how much money can I make right now. Don't get me wrong, there is money to be made and, go ahead, go make it, in my opinion. But, the priority needs to be a slightly different sort of mindset, in my opinion. There's more downside to come, in my opinion. And I think the market, might be getting some confidence back with some of these fake outs, and people need to just be aware that the trend hasn't changed just yet. We are kind of always against the grain, and maybe the grain is decided to change their narrative now, and maybe they're more sort of aligned with our way of thinking when it comes to cryptocurrency. Bitcoin at $16,536, down 1% in the last 7 days, but up 5% in the last 24 hours. Now, what I would say is, there's been 4 lower lows since everybody was saying the bottom was in June, and I think there's going to be more to come. If we have a look at Cardano, we're up 4.35% at the time of recording at 0.314. Again, I think this is a fantastic price for a project with such awesome technology sat beneath the hood. Definitely worth checking that out. But let's sort of get into some of the latest headlines. And I know lots of people have covered this, including ourselves. We were one of the first to break this piece of news that, Cardano is launching the new privacy blockchain and token called Dust. Now, what I would say is this is a really, really big update for Cardano. And one of the things that this is an enabler for is, regulation and stuff. But don't take my word for it. Let's see the clip of the interview where Charles talks to me about Midnight.
The first thing that we probably talk about is Midnight. Would you mind sort of just talking through what that is and how long you've been working on it and everything Midnight really for the community?
Well, Midnight is a project we've been working on for over 4 years. We started originally trying to reuse some of the research that we had done for proof of work, where when we started Cardano, we actually didn't know if Cardano was going to be a proof of work or proof of stake cryptocurrency. So we actually had both research streams working in parallel. parallel, and the reason being was that we didn't know if proof of stake was actually secure or not. We didn't have this notion, oh, we'll figure out proof of stake. No, we had a beginner's mind, and so it turned out that not only is proof of stake secure, but it, in many cases, is a superior consensus algorithm to a lot of proof of work use cases. But we didn't stop the proof of work research. We did log space mining. We wrote a paper called Minotaur, which is multi-resource consensus. We did the useful proof of work. We did NEPA-POWs, non-interactive proofs of proof of work. So we just kept doing that, and we said, it'd be really fun to build a cryptocurrency that runs on proof of work. And then we started thinking about that for a bit, and we explored all the different options and how to build network effect. And as the sidechains of Cardano strategy started crystallizing, we realized sidechains is all about partnerships. So what a sidechain is where two cryptocurrencies kind of come together, and the main chain, what it provides is decentralization, liquidity, infrastructure. It provides a community, an ecosystem, and the sidechain, it provides new capabilities that the main chain doesn't have. And we kind of had this idea in the Why Cardano paper, the difference between Cardano SL and Cardano CL, and we wrote that paper back in 2016, so it's been floating around for a long bloody time, but we never got around to it. And then we realized, wow, Midnight makes a lot more sense as a sidechain of Cardano, because it's the best of both worlds then. It gives something new and exciting to the Cardano ecosystem, private smart contracts, wow, and you write them in TypeScript, wow, that's like JavaScript, that's so cool, yet it still has all this security and decentralization and all these other great capabilities, and it basically makes it more profitable to be a stake pool operator, and ultimately strengthens the network effect of Cardano. Plus, it gets all the kinks out of the sidechain model, so it makes it very easy for a lot of projects to start building their own sidechains on Cardano, and eventually we can see dozens of sidechains on Cardano in addition to Cardano's core. So it's something that we are quite passionate about, and really the core of Midnight, the raison d'etre of it, is this concept of ACE. Yeah. So what I mean by ACE is this concept of freedom of association, commerce, and expression. Yeah, so we care deeply about people's ability to associate with each other, do business with each other, and express their opinion about things. We live in a society where many people are very afraid to share, even with friends, what they really think about things. And in many cases, your freedom of commerce is being restricted, especially in dystopian or totalitarian governments, which larger and larger amounts of people are living under now. Mm-hmm. You look at China expanding its Belt and Road program, everything you think, say, and do is monitored, and if it's inconvenient to the governing powers, they'll just simply, reduce your social credit score. Yeah. And I don't think many people want to live in a future where that becomes the standard instead of the exception to the rule. So you need good technology to push back against tyranny. And so we thought a lot about not only how do you do that, but how do you do that at scale, and how do you do that while innovating at the same time? So the problem with most privacy coins is that, actually all of them right now, no one has figured out how to go from a transaction to a smart contract. So Zcash, Monero, these other things, they're really good at this idea of keeping things private. Meaning if I send you some Monero, I send you some Zcash, you have a pretty strong security guarantee that that has an unlinkable transaction. Mm-hmm. The problem is that what happens when you want to go from a transaction to a smart contract and build like a private DEX, or if you want to mine medical records and get information without revealing the medical records, or you want to build a compliance system with selective disclosure, or these types of things. It turns out that's a fabulously hard problem, and there's been some papers published like ZEXE and others that have chased it. But what we did a few years ago is we published a paper called Kachina, and we actually figured out how to get it working. And it took 4 years to figure out how to get that working. And we spent a heck of a lot of time on this. We had a lot of great PL experts, and it's really just a marvel of computer science. And what's really cool is that we're doing it opposite. So when we did Cardano, we started with the consensus algorithm, the network effect, building the root of trust, then smart contracts. Now we're going in the opposite direction with Midnight, where we're starting with the developers first and giving them some red meat, TypeScript with a Visual Studio plugin, a good programming model, lots of cool stuff. They're going going to have a lot of fun with this, and we're doing a hackathon tomorrow where they get to play with it. And then what we're going to do is try to pull together some great technology. So we're currently looking at Scorex and Fabric as two pieces of infrastructure that we think we can combine with this technology, and then run that as a sidechain of Cardano to not only bring this into the Cardano space, but also make it very enterprise friendly from that respect. You know, enterprises, they have to comply with GDPR, with the Bank Secrecy Act. They have to comply with all kinds of things that require confidentiality. So it's a misnomer to say that companies don't want things to be private. And in fact, many cases, by law, they have to keep things private, and if they don't, they get strong fines, huge fines. So you have to be able to create a system that's equally useful to the underground newspaper in Russia that's calling truth to power as it is to a Fortune 500 company trying to put a bank on a blockchain or a CBDC on a blockchain, where you have a constitutional right to privacy in many respects. And we think we've come up with a pretty good strategy for that. So developers first, let people build a lot of things, and I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised with how much magic is there. And then use this as a way to kind of spearhead the rise of sidechains on Cardano, which will bring a lot more capabilities to the Cardano ecosystem.
What sort of interesting use cases will there be, do you feel?
Oh, there's so many. So I've already mentioned mining medical records. So for example, one thing I could envision being built on Midnight in the future would be a system where somebody could say, hey, a policymaker, for example, I want to know how many people in Wales got asthma, who have asthma, got COVID over the age of 50, and how many got hospitalized compared to the national average. Now, currently the only way you can answer a question like that would be to go to all the medical record systems, all the EHRs, and somebody has a clean room, and they have to go in and harvest all of it and anonymize it and do the statistics, and they'll give you the answer. But you've inadvertently revealed to somebody that Aunt Alice got COVID and she has asthma, these types of things. And that's a rather innocuous one, but what happens if you're talking about HIV? What if you're talking about herpes? What if you're talking about things that are very embarrassing or very problematic for people? Paternity, these types of things. So mining medical records is a huge use case, but that can be for any data science problem. Like, for example, Brave has ads, and they want to serve those ads to people. Well, what if you had an anonymous ad model where you can micro-target people, but neither the advertiser nor Brave knows anything about the individual data of the individual, of the person participating in that. So advertising, mining of records, private dexes where the order book is not seen, but it follows predictable logic, so you don't get people revealing your trading strategies, and suddenly hedge funds can get involved. I mean, the sky is really the limit when you talk about programmable privacy. The other thing is merging identity into privacy. So another thing that we're doing is we're taking Atala Prism and we're going to build it into Midnight. And it's the first product where it's going to have such a tight integration. And what that means is that you can have self-sovereign identity combined with confidential computation. And what this effectively does is it gives you the ability to do selective disclosures. So, an exchange, they just need to know if you're a U.S. citizen or not, if the money you have is legitimate or not. They need a proof that they're legally allowed to do business with you. They don't want to know your whole life, your name, who your ex-girlfriend was. They don't want to know any of that stuff. And it's a liability for them to have to hold on to all that for 7 years. It's a bunch of stuff they can't do much with, and if they ever get hacked, it certainly causes a fiduciary problem for them. So it'd be much nicer if they had zero knowledge proofs that talk about all that. So merging identity and confidential computation together, we think, is going to be one of the biggest drivers of RegTech innovation in the entire world. It's going to fundamentally transform KYC and AML. It's going to transform computational regulation, where suddenly you can now have DEXs that are regulated, meaning that every actor is allowed to be there, and the regulator gets a bunch of disclosures, but they're actually private on the outside and completely decentralized with no central operator.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, there's that kind of stuff that's coming, and it's going to be exclusive to Cardano. I mean, obviously we'll build connections from Midnight to Ethereum and Bitcoin and other ecosystems, but Cardano gets first access to all of that goodness because it's partnered with Midnight in that respect, and that's the power of the sidechain model.
Definitely. How does the community get involved in that Midnight project?
So it's an onion. So the first step is the developer side, and play around with the computational model and start talking about applications and these types of things. And I think there's going to be an enormous amount of excitement and a lot of developer activity. And then the second step is that the SPOs actually have to launch the system. So the power of the sidechain model is that once you get to a certain critical mass, then a certain level of stake has to signal support for a sidechain, and then they begin maintaining it. So the community actually launches. launches it. And then in terms of the distribution, we intend on doing a Glacier drop of the Dust token to all of the participants. And there's still a lot of things that have to be figured out there. And
Yeah.
we as the royal we, the collective we, the ecosystem, we have to kind of figure out some of those mechanics. We have a lot of really cool novel ideas on tokenomics for a resource-based economy and a multi-token model, and these types of things. And we're working with some great academics and great tokenomics groups to kind of go through all of that. But what's really cool is because we're doing dev focus first, you don't have to have a token to start because it's a centralized thing just to show developers how to build something. And that gives you the time you need to figure out how to launch it with the SPOs, and also to do a fair token distribution that the ADA holders will be quite happy with. So there's a lot of moving pieces to this, and this is just the beginning of that journey. And what's nice is every step of the way, more people come and more people come. So before any economic considerations are there, it's completely decentralized. That's a new way of launching cryptocurrencies. It used to be when I was growing up, back in the day, when I was a young whippersnapper in the cryptocurrency space, you'd do an ICO and you'd say, okay, now that we have all your money up front, we're just gonna figure this shit out. We're gonna get this done somehow. And that didn't work out so well. So we wanted to do it the opposite way, where you start with the use and utility of the system and the development model and building an ecosystem. And then over time, that ecosystem demands this thing to exist. And then eventually that ecosystem comes together and launches it. Yeah. That's the magic of it. So they ultimately get to decide if Midnight's a thing or not. And it's real cool to put that in the hands of the community in that respect. And then if that works, then that's a new model to launch all cryptocurrencies. And then Cardano will be the best platform to do that.
Yeah, no, it sounds amazing, and I feel a lot like you're really proud of this achievement. Like, it really sort of comes across really strongly.
You can't do a Midnight without Cardano, and I am proud. It's been 4 years of my life, and I've never been able to talk about it and be in these privacy conversations, and I just be like, fuck you guys, we got something better, and we couldn't say anything. So it's finally good to actually, it's like revealing a big secret or something, and I'm like a kid in a candy store. It's been fun to talk about something other than Voltaire and Basho and these other things.
Is there anything else on Midnight that you would want to cover that perhaps I'm not aware of, to be able to ask the question?
Oh, my Lord, yeah. There's going to be a lot of presentations tomorrow, and there's great technology like upgradable snarks, and we put a lot of work into trying to make things as standards compliant as possible, that merger of identity into privacy. But I'm going to leave it to John and the rest of the team tomorrow to really go through that. And I encourage you guys, if you have any developers or just curious, to film the hackathon and kind of get some first impressions. It'll be tomorrow at the lab, so you guys will be able to get hands-on with it.
So as you can tell, Charles seemed very, very passionate about everything Midnight. 4 years that they've been working on this, and to not have said anything is just remarkable, because you could tell in the room that he was very, very proud of this achievement, right? And this is coming from somebody that's built something like Cardano, which is just an absolute beast. So, there does feel like there's something really, really special with Midnight. And Nick and myself were looking at a project called Findora, FRA. It's on the Ethereum chain, doing something very, very similar to what Charles has articulated to us with Midnight. So definitely check out that project as well. Obviously, that's going to be on the Ethereum chain. I think that, we were looking at this because the market is heading that way, in our opinion. So definitely worth checking that project out as well. But I do think that, Cardano is going to be potentially right up there, and maybe even get above Bitcoin. I know there's going to be pockets of people that disagree, and I get that. That's fine. We're used to that. You don't have to see things the same way as we do. But, I kind of feel like they're opening many, many doors to many, many people. And I think they will be bringing in an awful lot of mainstream adoption for Cardano. I just kind of feel that the stuff that they're doing is the right things to be doing, particularly around Lace Wallet. Being able to get people that don't perhaps use the technology, don't need to understand the technology, in through the door. I think Cardano is definitely doing some world firsts when it comes to that side of things. Now moving on, and we've got the Cardano stablecoin launch, and this is something again very, very exciting. And yeah, look, we got DGED obviously will launch on Cardano mainnet in January 2023. So there's an awful lot of stuff happening on the ecosystem, and there's going to be more and more being sort of discussed over the coming weeks and months. So Look, there are other projects that I think are really, really good. I like VeChain. I think VeChain is definitely another project to check out. I think they're doing some amazing things. They've got great utility, well funded, great technology. I think that, it's mispositioned sometimes. I kind of feel like you associate supply chain with VeChain rather than everything else that they do. They are a layer 1 blockchain, a 5-star rated blockchain. And I think people need to wake up to have a look at VeChain as well. For me, what two of the very strongest projects in this space are Cardano and VeChain. I really do like them. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Really excited about Midnight and the Dust token. Really looking forward to hearing more about how they plan to distribute it and all that wonderful stuff. Check out the full interview with Charles. We touch on Lace, we touch on Twitter, we touch on obviously the Midnight project and their plans moving forward. So definitely worth a watch. And yeah, you can find the video on the channel, so go check it out. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, mash up that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.